Conference recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now it's live.
That to you for when we approve that.
Okay.
You can start it.
Not yet. I don't see him. Oh, someone's joining. Nope, that's Kevin. Hold on, Michael.
I'll pass that around. I thought that was a mistake. Surely that has to be a mistake.
Because it's McPherson so far away, they're both traveling and they're playing in Washburn.
Oh, really?
Which meant that McPherson had to have an opening in their schedule too, so they must have had a problem.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise you just wouldn't have a team sitting around able to play on.
Yeah,
Right.
You'd have a schedule. There's no bye weeks usually, so.
Right.
Huh. I got the email from that high school sports app, and that can't be right. What? That's not right.
All the home games I go to happen. So I guess I'm not going this time. Yeah, it's been
Okay.
real.
Thought that was. Is Kevin Ritter on you?
I just texted him. He's not on. Oh, never mind. He is on.
He's on.
Hi, Kevin. Disregard my text.
I was gonna say there's somebody down there with just a K.
Yeah.
All right. There's Kay. All
Yeah.
right. It's good.
Yeah.
Timing's good because it is 7 o'clock. We'll call the October 1st City Council meeting to order. We'll start with roll call, please.
Lane.
Here.
Daniels.
Here.
Hanemichael.
Here.
Ritter.
Here.
Murdoch.
Here.
Everyone's present.
Okay. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I think our first item tonight, the first thing I'd like to do tonight is to take a moment and honor Ted Morse. Ted was a community-minded person, city council, school board, and just always a guy with a friendly word. So I would just encourage you all to please join me in a moment of silence as we honor Ted and keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Our first item tonight's the consent agenda. We have the minutes from the council meeting of September 17th to be approved and pay ordinance number 887. Any discussion of a consent agenda items or a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the consent agenda.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Hanamichael.
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Item 2 is call to public. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to comment about any matter relating to city business not listed on tonight's agenda. The comments that are discussed under call to public may or may not be acted on by the council during this meeting. There is a 4-minute time limit. Does anyone wish to address the council? Can we, is that, who's the noise?
It was Danny.
It's Danny.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he looks like he's good.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Anyone under call, okay, please step to the mic, state your name and address.
My name is Charles Crest. I own Beer 30 over there by Quick Trip. You guys are putting that roundabout in. My question is, okay, when they pull in there, they won't be able to take immediate left to get inside to go to my bar. So I got to go up by the Mexican restaurant and take a left. The road going to the left there at the Mexican restaurant is pretty bad. Is there going to be repairs done to that? And will there be signs to put up that says, let them know that that strip mall has businesses in there?
Yeah, those are good questions. So we started some signage to alert people that there are businesses in the strip center. If you don't make that first immediate turn, to start getting people thinking that way, and those signs I'm sure will be improved and replaced. Mike, you want to address the?
Yeah.
I mean, we could easily add that street enhancements to that street as part of the project.
Yeah, so the signage is an easy thing. And have you noticed the ones we put out there?
Yeah, they're green with little white letters,
They're
but they're
pretty
not
small.
real visible.
Yeah, they wound up, they
look bigger on. I thought those letters. I see it up there. I said, well,
False advertisement.
Yeah, didn't do what I wanted to do. So that was not a.
Yeah, that's the idea, though. I mean, those
Yeah.
things do look bigger in the office than they do when you put them out. So there's a lot we could do with signage toward that end.
Yeah.
To make sure. And I think, Beer 30 and all those businesses are there.
Yeah, cigar shop, liquor store.
Yeah. The access drive is actually owned by Tim and Joe.
Is it?
It's JT Development, TJ Development.
But do they own it right next, straight west of the Mexican
Yeah, they
restaurant?
do. That drive there on the
The
west
whole-
side
the whole
and
strip?
one on the east side. Yeah, they own both of those.
So we
strips.
might have to take that as a public street town too.
Well, we brought that up. Yeah, because they've expressed concerns, not with the roundabout project, but with trucks that are going to Casey's.
Okay.
Go down that loop,
Yeah.
across the driveway in front of your place, and just tear it up. And they've spent
Yeah, I spent, $80,000 to have that done.
So one of the ideas that we're kicking around is making that a public street. At least now we can't make the whole parking lot public.
No.
No.
We can make the street public, and
Or even behind the strip mall, if you can make that public. I mean, if trucks are probably
I don't like that
driving
idea
in.
so much. The strip mall backs right up to it.
I'm pushing it, okay?
We're looking at
right.
those options.
But we could ask
for it to be dedicated, though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it would make sense. You know, we did talk about this before because it would make sense as the property on the west, if and when that were to develop, we would want that to be
We would.
We don't
Yeah.
want them putting another
That would be a
Right.
benefit.
50
I
feet
think
down the street.
right.
that would be a benefit.
Yeah, bad thing of it is people pull in there, they can't pull immediate left, and they're not knowing that they can go up there to the right, you know, later on. Need to have something to invite them that direction.
I
That's
agree.
all I'm thinking, okay?
Yeah.
I know the roundabout's coming, there's nothing I can do to stop that, but.
And even just the geometrics of the entrance of that to make it more
Yeah.
noticeable that it is a
Public
that it is
or an
that is a
accident,
commercial
right.
accident.
Yeah, because
not
if you
just-
take that left by the Mexican restaurant, I mean, it
it
looks
almost
like
looks like a
a
driveway.
And it kind of is. I mean, it was.
looks like a cattle trail almost, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Good point.
okay, anyway, thank you very
Yeah.
Thank
much.
you for your
Thanks.
comments.
He's not here for me, is
Depends on what you do next.
he? No more stupid jokes.
Okay. All right, moving on. Item 3, old business. We have none, so we'll go to 4A. Under new business, discuss request from the Arts Council for public art policy.
Yes, Council, I'll introduce this briefly. Linda Lane came to me a couple weeks ago with an idea about a request to the Council for help in establishing a public art policy and maybe some funding toward that end. Year after year in a process where we can identify appropriate locations on public spaces in the rights of way or in parks, and have those dedicated to public art. So I want to turn it over to Linda. And Danny, I understand that you'd like to recuse yourself from this issue. You're muted right now. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. What we decided, since he's virtual, we could do in order for him to recuse himself is mute his mic and step away or turn his camera so that we can't see him. So Danny will ask you to do that now. And you won't be able to hear us. So what I'll do is I'll send you a text message when we're ready to have you back. Would that work?
Okay, yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
I'm
Very
gone.
good. I'll turn it over to Linda then, Mayor, with your.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Thank you. On behalf of the DeSoto Arts Council, we'd like to speak to you tonight about providing art in public places in DeSoto. Can you hear me okay with this on?
You might talk into the mic a little bit there.
Can I take it off?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Lori's closest, so she would be the caller.
You're okay? Take it off? Okay. It's long been a dream of the DeSoto Arts Council to add art in public places within the city. Public art is defined as a visual art displayed in an outdoor city-owned area on the exterior of any city-owned facility or inside of any city-owned facility in areas designated by the city as public areas if the work of art is installed or financed in whole or part by the city. Quality public art will celebrate DeSoto's history and future by creating a sense of identity, uniqueness, and civic pride to be enjoyed by current and future residents. Art in public places engages and connects people to the community, making DeSoto a more memorable place to live. Public art will signal that DeSoto is a place where culture is appreciated and enjoyed. Developing public art can be a tool to make distinctive environments that people want to live in. Art can help tell DeSoto's stories. They can engage people in meaningful ways and provide valuable interactive experiences. Our objective here tonight is to have the City Council consider a public art projects. The DeSoto Art Council members have reviewed information from both the cities of Lenexa and Olathe regarding their public art initiatives and have incorporated some of their methodology into this proposal. Our proposal is that initially 1 or 2 art sculptures will be selected annually and placed at locations agreed upon by the DeSoto Art Council and the City Council. Our suggested locations, we just kind of bounced it around and thought maybe the intersection of Kill Creek and 83rd down there at the bottom where that's, all those gardens are down there. Maybe the new roundabout near K10, somewhere in front of City Hall, or someplace downtown DeSoto. Due to the cost of many outdoor sculptures, we're proposing a program in which the sculpture would be on loan to the city for a stipend amount of $2,000 payable to the artist for a 1-year lease. with consideration for possible purchase by the city at the end of 1 year at a predetermined amount. That way, it doesn't come as a surprise, but if it feels like we want to buy it, then that would certainly be an option. For this first year, the Art Council would like to propose that the $1,500 historically received for the annual art show be used for the outdoor sculpture project, since due to the COVID situation, we were unable to provide our fall show. In future years, the $1,500 annually budgeted for the DeSoto Art Show shall not be used for public art purposes because we would like to continue with our art shows. The selection criteria and specifications will be an important part of the process. The DeSoto Arts Council will issue a call to artists in which we would draw up the verbiage for the art call to artists and send it out. And we would also contact Lenexa and Olathe to get some of their people that they have used in the past. Artists must sign a loan agreement in which they will agree to, number one, permit the city to install the artwork, promise that the artwork will remain on display for the duration of the exhibit, recognize that in the interest of public safety and community priority, the city has the right to remove any damaged sculpture unless promptly and satisfactorily repaired by the artist. Work will be insured by the city against property loss up to a maximum of $5,000, because remember, this amount that we pay is just a lease amount. It's not the value of the property. The governing body shall direct the city attorney to commence negotiations with the artist or agent to agree on contract terms for the loan of the public art display. The city attorney shall draft and issue the contract. Sculptures must be suitable for long-term display. They should be as vandal-proof as possible and safe to the public. The sculpture must be considerable in size, as many sites are viewed from a distance. The durability and size of the piece will be a consideration for selection. Sculptures must be capable of being properly secured to the ground or concrete. Preferences will be given to works fabricated within the last 3 years. We don't want old artwork submitted. Local artists are encouraged to submit, but the call to artists will be open to everyone. So it's not just going to be our artists right here in town. Each artist may submit up to 3 sculptures for consideration and must include 2 images of each work, and there will be an entry fee of $10. Eligibility is open to all artists 18 years of age and older. All entries must be original work. And delivery and return of selected artwork. Artists are solely responsible for the delivery and the return of the sculptures and all associated costs. We have a tentative timeline, should this be approved, that all entries must be received by January the 15th, and we send out a notice to the artist, and the exhibit, our goal would be to have the exhibit open June of next year. So that is kind of, that's the basic outline of what we're looking for. Does anybody have any questions about any of this? Are you familiar with artwork that you've seen in Olathe and Lenexa?
Yeah, I wanted us to, some sort of program like this for a long time. I thought it would be a nice addition to the city. It's always who's going to take the lead in putting it together, and then the fund, how we're going to fund it. So I'm glad that the Arts Council has stepped up and taken the lead on putting a proposal together. I would support exploring this further and seeing how we might go about implementing it. I'd be council comments or
I was going to say, I like the idea. When we were talking about the Christmas tree and the pad, I had mentioned potentially a spot for artwork there instead of flowers, things like that. So a couple questions though. What are you asking for from the city as far as $2,000, $4,000, $6,000?
That would be up to you. It would be $2,000 is typically what
per piece.
Per piece, yes, for the agreement to lease with the artist. That's what typically Lenexa and Olathe have received. So that would be a good starting point for us, I think. And it would be up to you all how much you want to do. I know many sculptures. I know Olathe, back when I was there, we were getting like 5 or 6 sculptures, and they would be placed in various parts of the city, and then at the end of the term, they would be returned to the artist or purchased. Some of them were purchased, and new art would come in. That gives an opportunity for new artists to display their work. So that's up to you guys how many you want to pursue. We'll get as many as we can, so.
And you have an age limit of 18 and older. Have you explored like one site that could be for high school? Or
We haven't, because typically these are quite expensive to make. So we kind of felt like 18 was a good starting point, but I'm sure if somebody came to us and they had, established some good art pieces that were durable and we could display them, we could certainly take that under consideration. Agreed?
Well, I think too that it would depend whether it was inside or outside.
Yes.
So that would be your location, because you could take up maybe a younger sculpture that wasn't quite so durable and put it inside, but you couldn't do that outside.
Right.
So, I mean, that would be the stipulation. That would be up to you guys and your locations as to where you want it. You could identify an area that was specifically for the high school. I think that would be good.
So maybe when we write this up, we don't want to have an 18 years of older in there. We want to modify that.
Well, I think you need to say, maybe at home with good, you have to have the durable structure for outside.
Absolutely.
So we know that.
This is Diana Zual, she's our president.
So you have to keep that and make sure that they understand that. However, you could have, another program, which would be the junior artist or whatever you want to call that, okay? Because we've done that in our
Art shows. Mm-hmm.
And it's been very successful and rewarding to us and to the students. So at one time, in the early 2000s, we had these hallways full of high school artwork too. So that would be something that if that's something that you could be interested, that we could work with the school and the students to do that. I think we would, but that would be up to you. And that would be part of writing this all together. This is just a presentation now.
At this point, I think it was just an established age with Lenexa and Olathe is why we're going with that.
Lori, did you have?
I like the idea. I would support it. I think it's just kind of a matter of, as a council, deciding how many pieces we want to explore each year and starting with, since, we don't have it in budgets necessarily for even next year. That budget's already done too. So I was kind of thinking, one of the first thoughts that came to me is that the maximum insurance is only $5,000, because I would expect there could be pieces that are higher than that. So I don't know if we need to kind of talk about that a little bit. And, the thing with what you were just talking about with the schools, I'm sure the schools, the art teachers already have programs where they display them at the schools. So I'm sure easily, if they wanted to display something in the city hall here, they just would probably have to get a hold of us and ask, and I'm sure we could probably put something like that together. So I don't think it would have to be part of this program necessarily to do that. I think that could be kind of its own little thing.
Certainly.
And, the 18 years of age and older may just have more of the reason they probably do is just more of a old enough to be liable for your own property and what's going on and making decisions, signing contracts and all of that. So that kind of makes sense to me that you're 18 years old to do that. I think younger ones, definitely the school, we would love to have their stuff on display here, but I think that could be directly done with the school. So, but otherwise, no, I like the idea. I think displaying artwork is a great thing. I just think we just need to kind of figure out, how many pieces at a time, at 2,000 a piece or somewhere in that range. There's only going to be a limit of how many we want to have up at a time, I think. So.
All right. Kevin?
Can I suggest too that while you're planning for the roundabout and all, that you think about how would we install or have a place in the middle of it or whatever, if that happens to be the entry into the city, which it kind of is. How would we make a place so that we could install different sculptures and it wouldn't hurt that area specifically? You know what I'm talking about? You understand? So if we talked, I mean, when you're thinking about the roundabout and you're thinking about fun, this is just another thing that if we're gonna change those out.
Okay.
Then you think about
Sure.
how that might be done.
Kevin?
Yeah, I think the idea is brilliant. I would love to see us do something like this. I think it's a good community amenity. On one hand, you could say, why should we spend any public dollars on something like this? But on the other hand, to your point about that it adds character to the community, and I believe that is worth something. I guess my thought would be making sure that when we're picking areas to put them, that it's worth having it there, or that we're not just sticking something in a place that's not really well prepped for it,
Exactly.
or the ability to enjoy it. So site selection for where it's placed and what environment it sits in, I think, is going to be important. Yeah, very important. I'd hate to just stick it at 83rd and Kill Creek and, kind of lose the value of it because you can't enjoy it
Not everyone
as
can
much
see
because
it
you're
there.
paying attention to traffic kind of a thing. So I guess that'd be my biggest thought, is be sure that we implement it in a way that that's worth what we're trying to accomplish.
Kevin Ritter, any comments or questions?
No, I agree with both council folks there. I think it just comes down to figuring out what the total dollar amount's going to be to decide how many we can do. But I'm for it.
Great.
Mayor, if I might add one thing, if anybody remembers, about a little over a year ago, they had a piece out at Lexington Lake.
Yeah.
Not a gal, the county put together a program, and they had a piece out there, and I think it was well received, and it went over well. So I mean, even in the parks might be an area of something, and maybe it's a piece that we'll want to keep in the park or in one of the areas. So,
did you have a comment you wanted to make?
I was just going to ask, is it going to be like the history of DeSoto? What type of art are we talking?
We have talked about that actually in the Art Council. We thought that would be really nice to establish maybe some of the permanent pieces. I don't know. In Merriam, there's a large piece with the wagon train and the pioneers, and I think Olathe has something as well by Mahaffey Farmstead. That would be fantastic if we could do something like that someday.
And
But
I'm thinking that would be a nice piece to put something like that would be at Kill Creek, which would be more of a permanent in telling the history as you came in.
But those pieces are quite expensive. Yes, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So.
Anything else? So, Mike, what do you think our next steps would be on this?
Yeah, I was just going to suggest, in order to kind of set a goal to work toward, it seems like the ask here, I think, is to establish a policy. So that seems like a resolution to me. So maybe we formulate this proposal in the form of a resolution with Patrick's help, and in the meantime, we'll think about the site selection committee and how that selection of sites and how the selection of the artwork goes. And as far as the budget, whether it's 2, 4, 6 pieces, I think we can budget $4,000 to $8,000 on an annual basis without having to drastically reduce services anywhere else.
Because at bare minimum, if they want to start with one, if they're giving the permission for the 1,500, it'd be 500 for first year for one piece.
Well,
on just a start from what was already budgeted. So
I
Okay.
Great.
That'd be you.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
So let us work. I was going to suggest maybe if there's one person on the council who kind of wants to work, in cooperation with us while we put the resolution together, or if you think staff can kind of handle it, and we'll come back with the Arts Council with a resolution at a future meeting. Whichever, if you want to. I think eventually, though, we're going to have some involvement with the council on the selection of the pieces.
Right.
So that would be after the resolution.
Well,
I'd be glad to work with you on it if it works out that you guys can do it when I'm able to meet.
Okay.
That one day off.
Well, you
But I've got
to
that couple hours between.
We'll
Wednesday
make
and
sure it
Thursday.
meets your calendar.
So there we go. It's important. Yeah.
We'll just include you on the correspondence.
Yeah, that'd be
list
great.
and, we'll start there.
Well, thank you all. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Diane.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have? Oh. Did you text Danny?
Just did.
All right. Our next item is to consider repairs to the pool slides, but we'll hold for just a second until we. Bye. Hey. Thank you. All right. Danny's back.
Looks like he's got to get his headset on yet.
Headset's on. Danny, you there?
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on then. Thank you. 4B, consider repairs to pool slides.
Yes, Council. As you see in the memo here, we're looking at doing a complete refurbishment of the 3 slides at the Aquatic Center. The one, the blue, the big blue, the tower slide, the family slide, and the tot slide. Basically what this includes is sanding of all surfaces and cleaning, getting rid of all the grime, all the suntan lotion, everything that's been on there now for 15 years. And then going back in and repainting the exterior and re-gel coating the interior. We received 7 bids, as you can see there. I guess to go back a little bit over the years, and I mentioned in the memo that staff has done some buffing, waxing. At least a couple times we've recaulked the joints on the big slide, just trying to do some every year maintenance type things to prolong the life. But they're getting to the point now where they need professional service and that refurbishment to bring them back to life. So.
Okay. Questions for Jay? Looked like you got a lot of interest in the project.
Yeah, it really did. That surprised me, to be honest with you, because there aren't very many total companies out there that do this kind of thing. And when I talked to a few of them, they're like, "You get any bids?" I told them how many, and they're like, "Wow, you must have gotten everybody." So
I guess you hit the street.
So I don't know if it was timing or what the deal was, but
probably.
Yes.
Any questions?
I make a motion to approve the bid from Slide Pros in the amount of $27,525.
I'll second the motion.
that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Lane,
Yes.
Ritter,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Hanamichael.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you, sir. Item C, consider bids for COVID-related CARES Act projects. Mike, I'm gonna let you go through the list.
Yeah, well, I don't want to belabor everything, but we approved the subrecipient agreement at the last meeting for just over $200,000 in CARES Act funding. They have a process where you can submit the larger ticket items, pre-submit, get pre-approval for those before you go make those expenditures. So we made those requests on a number of these projects, the largest of which is replacing the HVAC units on this facility. Steve actually told me there's actually 11 units, not 12, that we'll be replacing.
All right.
That's reflected in the bids. So we'd estimated that to be $130,000. The low bid came out at $100,640. Other items on our list for consideration today is the purchasing of some office furniture for the front office. We thought that was going to be around $8,000. The proposal came in at about 775.80. And then the last item is bids for touchless drinking fountains and plumbing fixtures. It's a little different because our initial round of applications to the county included only the drinking fountains and towel dispensers here at City Hall. When we saw other cities putting touchless fixtures in all public spaces, we've now made another application for those touchless fixtures, and we have received pre-authorization from the county for the entire project. So that amounts to about $26,000 in total. About 5,100 of that we'd already gotten approval of. So, but now we're okay for the.
So that partial is now a yes?
The partial is now a yes. Yeah, that was just earlier this week. We have some other projects that we're going to go ahead and submit. We talked about some AV upgrades for this room. We're going to go ahead and do that. There was a floor scrubber for the city shop. We actually do have approval for that, but we don't have the bids in yet. Everything else on our list is really just a purchase thing. The big one that we really are in a hurry for is this HVAC stuff. It's the county and the guidance from the Fed is pretty strict that this money has to be spent, and spent means the project has to be done. Doesn't mean the project's just let and it's ongoing. It means it has to be done. So we've had some pretty pointed discussions with our HVAC, the low bidder on the HVAC work. And he's confident that he can get those units in time and get them installed and get the project completed. So the approvals I need from you tonight really are only three. One's for the HVAC. The other for the office furniture, and for the touchless drinking fountains. I won't go through all those, but those are in exhibits. So the HVAC, we took actual bids. We put out a spec and took bids for those. The other two items, well, the front office furniture, we didn't use a bid process, but we did. Our office furniture supplier does adhere to the cooperative purchasing agreement through Mark, and we've confirmed that he's giving discounts that are actually a little bit above the ones that we would otherwise get through Mark. So on procurement, sometimes we've done this in the past on some procurement items. So I've got suggested motions for all of these, and so that procurement item, all the motions indicate that these expenses are to be reimbursed from the CARES Act funding. The touchless drinking fountains, when I wrote the staff report, I didn't yet have county approval. I now do. The other wrinkle on that one was that our low bidder specified Murdoch brand manufactured drinking fountains. Our preference was LK. LKs are a little more expensive. So we went back to the low bidder, asked him to provide LK brand, and that put his bid $900 higher than the bid from Fisher. So Plumbing by Fisher is now the low bidder at $26,000 even. So we'd like to proceed with that bid if we could.
Okay. I guess it was clear in the bid document. Sorry?
What was the thing that you wanted for this area, where you're at? What was the thing for? I missed that part for some reason.
You mean the council room AV stuff, Danny?
Yeah.
We had talked, I think it was Rob's suggestion, that we better integrate our camera system with the video conferencing stuff. And you had that discussion with the company that installed this. I'm awaiting a bid for that. They think it's possible that we split the video streams. And so it's some of that. We're also going to include some video conferencing equipment back in the council conference room where the glass table is. TV and some video conferencing equipment there.
Okay, thank you.
That's the idea.
My question was it clear that LK was our preferred product in the for those?
When we, and Jay was kind of directly involved with that, it was not abundantly clear.
Okay.
It was listed as a preference but not a requirement.
Okay.
So we had 3 bids. The 2 bidders included LK. The 1 bidder did not. But we did, and no bidder knew what the other bidder had bid.
Yeah.
And we did go back to the one that didn't and ask him to revise his bid to include LK. And when he did, that bumped it above Plumbing by Fisher.
So in effect, that actually created more consistency
Yeah.
between the bids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that took care of actually my question, because my question was going to be about what we have in place as far as local businesses.
Oh, yeah.
And since that moved up the bid from Bill's higher than Plumbing by Fisher, who is a local business, that took care of that question anyway.
There's a dollar amount, I think, where the local bid issue comes into play, because I've talked to Mike about that recently, and
Yeah.
we re-looked
Yeah,
at
our
it.
purchasing
And it was
policy.
Yeah,
pretty
because
Basically, anything over 10,000,
We have
and
to.
yeah, there's not a whole lot of
Okay.
local preference.
All right. Any other questions from anyone?
Yeah, with the
Sure.
air conditioning coming in lower, it looks like there's still a remaining balance. Are you still searching for ideas
We
for
are.
that?
Yeah, we are.
is that
Okay.
balance free to use on other COVID-related items without going back to pre-approval, or?
No, we still want pre-approval. We still want to go through
Okay.
that process. But yeah, it looks like we got $19,000.
But out of our 200,000 allotment, we still have that. Just need to go back
Yeah,
for pre-approval.
yeah. And Mayor, you had an idea. What was it?
Yeah, I talked to. I had. We had
Oh, the
talked about
chairs.
replacing the furniture in the community center, and I guess we've already done the chairs, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some table up. But I don't. We're just using the folding plastic tables in there, right? So I don't know that there's a better cleanable product that we could use anyway. So.
Yeah, and those chairs, I think we've replaced all the chairs already, and the cost was right around $1,000. So we'll put that on here. So that'll come out of the 19.
Okay. Can we do that?
I imagine it'll be approved. We can get it pre-approved, but
Yeah.
we'll try.
The other thought Mike and I talked about too was, I don't know if you want to do anything with these.
Yeah, I was going to say chairs in here that aren't
These are.
fabric, that are easier to clean in between people might be an idea,
I don't know.
but they're not as
Well,
comfortable to sit
so
in.
the ones we got for the community center are these exact chairs, just
But
with
they have
vinyl.
vinyl instead
Yeah.
of
They're
cloth.
just with vinyl.
Pretty
and they're
much.
what, $40 a piece or something? I think that's about what it was.
We spent a little over 1,000 and we got
25, right?
20. Yeah, it was about 25.
So
$24,
$40.
25.
Well, yeah, we could throw these on.
I mean,
I don't know if it's
But they're in such
necessary.
good shape.
They're in good. I mean, unless the only would be if it's a cleaning issue, but if we're spreading out, it's not a big issue. I'll brainstorm.
Yeah.
Well, so disinfectant foggers or anything like any of that.
Yeah, we could,
Just a little like for this fabric things. There's foggers
Oh,
that
right.
you use because you can't scrub. So
Right.
you're-
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, we got some backpack stuff, but not like the fancy fogger things.
Yeah, we bought some backpacks so we could spray like the bleachers and things, park stuff outside, but
Yeah,
we didn't do
right.
anything for inside.
These are more like interior.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Furniture,
Yeah.
and I don't.
Mhm.
I guess I would.
I haven't read about them.
I would think ahead at the sports programs and things that we're able to do or not able to do. If there's anything that would be a benefit to keep any kind of programs going. So when we have youth basketball starting up, is there something
Yeah.
that would make that better?
Yeah.
Do we need to have masks for the kids along with their uniforms? I mean, just things that might be.
We did do that this fall with soccer and volleyball.
Because all those cost extra, but
Yeah,
if there's anything else that way, for I don't know what it would be because I'm not around the kids. But
I've been doing a lot of, Mike can vouch for this, a lot of nickel and diamond on PPE stuff and stuff.
It just doesn't add up very fast, really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of nickel and dime stuff, but we did provide masks for every player that's involved in our soccer and volleyball.
Yeah.
Color coordinated to their.
No, we didn't quite go that far. The girls probably got mad at us, but no, we didn't go that far. But there's definitely some things Mike and I can sit down and talk about
If you have any ideas, we do have some time. I mean, just for that off-the-shelf purchase stuff,
Yeah.
it's got to be the end of the year.
Okay.
So you need some motions?
I do. Yeah.
I make a motion, we accept the bid from Rick Beebe in the amount of $100,640 for the HVAC replacement project with expenses to be reimbursed by CARES Act grant funding.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Michael.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes.
Murdoch.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I move to accept the pricing proposal for Navrat's office products in the amount of $7,580.46 for the replacement of front office workstations with expenses to be reimbursed by CARES Act grant funding.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lane.
Yes.
Ritter.
This is on water fountains, is that right?
Furniture.
This is furniture.
Okay, I'm sorry, yes on this.
Murdoch.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then question, Mike, on the last one, do you want it to go and be plumbing by Fisher?
Yeah, if you could, we
Okay.
could make that. Yeah.
I move to authorize the city administrator to accept the bid by Plumbing by Fisher for the plumbing improvements at City Hall in the amount not to exceed $26,000 with the expenses to be reimbursed by the CARES Act grant funding.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or question?
Mayor, I was going to ask Patrick, I leased from this gentleman. Should I abstain?
No, that would not preclude you under our policy.
Okay, appreciate it.
Roll call, please.
Michael.
Yes.
Murdoch.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Doing our part to keep DeSoto safe. Okay. Item D, consider fee resolution changing aquatic center fee structure and increasing BZA application fees.
Yes, Council, we talked about this at the last meeting when we gave the update on the park board's work this fall. Their recommendation to change the fee structure for the aquatic center, mostly related to family passes. So Patrick's prepared the pay ordinance, and as he was doing so, he sent an email out to everybody, asked if we wanted anything else to be changed, and Brad brought up the fact that the BZA application is $100, and those things, they're required public hearings, so we have publications to publish that sometimes top $50 or $60 in staff time, and we have to get the BZA members together. Just thought that one in particular, in terms of planning applications, was particularly low. He's expressed similar concerns with all our planning applications, but I think we want to take a more measured and purposeful approach if we're going to change any of those. So it's really those two changes, and those are redlined on the version. I'm trying to find the red lines where the pool fees are in there. Oh, okay. There they are. Those are the red lines that essentially enact the changes that we talked about at the last meeting.
So we're going from, it looked like 100 then to 200 on the
BZA?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from council?
No.
Or a motion?
Resolution number?
1034.
I make a motion, we approve resolution number 1034, establishing fees and rates for permits, licenses, and services within the city of DeSoto.
I will second that.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion about the motion? If not, roll call, please.
Michael.
Yes.
Murdoch.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Executive session, we do not have one, so we'll go to advisory reports. Mike.
Yes,
so-
Council. Three quick things this evening. The first one is NIMS training. Lana, I think, sent an email out last week, asked you, everybody, if they had any certifications, and if so, what those were, so that she could work with Steve and the county emergency response folks to determine what our needs are. She heard back, I think, from most of you. It sounds like Rob and Danny are. I'm sorry, Danny and Kevin Ritter are pretty well set. It sounds like they have several certificates. It should be all they need. Um, Once we get the new iPads in, we'll make sure to make contact with the county to see what a governing body official needs to have in terms of NIMS training. It looks like because of the pandemic, all that training's happening online. And the courses that you guys would need are all available online, almost free or almost free. So our intent is once we get the iPads in, we'll load those links on those iPads so that you can take those at your leisure and get that completed if you wish. I don't think she heard back from the mayor or Kevin Hanemichael.
Yeah, I was digging. I did one the same time Danny did at the county.
You went down to the.
I can't find the certificate anywhere, and I was trying to.
Well, I think the county has those on file. So
all right.
We'll
I went through the. I don't know, probably 5 years ago now, but
yeah, it's been a while.
I did
Yeah,
that.
the mayor was in the same class with me that we took those.
But did they give me a certificate? I don't remember getting one, but they probably did.
No, I think they just put it on record.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's on record, we'll find out. We'll let you know what you need as elected officials and how to do it. But it does look like it's going to kind of be on your pace, on your own, to kind of do that. There's no deadline. It'd be a self-imposed one if we have one. So we'll see how we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Next item.
Economic incentives. We talked about our policy in August, and we took that to the EDC executive board. They were all very excited about that. And, Kevin, you and Lori were both on that call. Thumbs up about that. Haven't heard any additional feedback from that time. So my intent is to bring that back for the next meeting, October 15th. Ready to take action on that, implement that by way of that code. And then lastly, the county CARES Act Phase 2, Spark Task Force, Kevin Hanemichael was on that and championed an effort to extend broadband internet service south from DeSoto into the county. He was successful in getting $375,000 for that effort. And the tool to do that will be RG Fiber and Zoom Fiber. Zoom is now building down Kill Creek Road. RG is now building southward down Waverly Road. So they're going to take that money and extend both of those lines into some of the more heavier populated areas in the county to provide.
When you say extending southward from 83rd Street or
no, southward from 99
or
south of the city,
95th, south from 95th.
Yeah,
okay,
south from 95th. And the reason I bring it up is because the county needs a governmental jurisdictional agency to be the pass through on that funding. It's going eventually to RG and to Zoom. But they need someone to manage those funds, and so we've decided, that DeSoto could be that entity, and the county's prepared a subrecipient agreement for us. I'll be bringing that to you on at the next council meeting too, on October 15th. Kevin, I want to let you.
Yeah, I'm playing a lot. I might give a little bit of backstory on that. So I got appointed to this CARES Relief Fund Phase 2 Strike Force. And so, broadband tends to be a passion of mine. And so I put forth this idea to extend south into the unserved county area and threw it together. I found out I was on it on a Tuesday. I threw it together Tuesday night for a 6-hour Zoom call on a Wednesday. And it ended up getting a little bit of traction. And what we ended up doing is figuring out sort of the same public contribution, if you will, towards a conduit construction to 115th Street. And it's really based on how far we think they can actually complete by the December, call it the 20th, 15th, deadline. Well, This went through, there were 60 people on this committee, and it kind of got sort of generally supported, but when it went to an auditor who ultimately determines which projects have the lowest risk factor in terms of being audited or denied, because you don't want to get out there to the end of it. The county have to foot the bill for it. This ranked really high if a couple of things happened. One is that it was an extension of the city's infrastructure. So they considered the fact that the city had done this before as a factor that mitigates the risk. So we've got the experience. So it will originate from handholds set by the city's public-private partnership, and the fact that the entities involved were a part of that as well. This one's unique in that they're both going to be building their own conduit system down separate streets. And then it got to, well, who then actually administers it? And it really isn't a Johnson County Public Works thing. And so I volunteered the city on a video call and then quickly called the mayor to make sure that I hadn't overstepped my bounds. The city isn't taking on any risk for the work because Johnson County Public Works will still administer the construction within the right of way. It will really be the city says it's complete, and somebody has to be able to disperse the funds. So the really cool thing in my mind about this is it leveraged what we did in DeSoto to help create broadband infrastructure to further extend south. So both carriers came into play. The existing conduit that was built under the city's public-private partnership is leveraged because they're both already occupying it. And the fact that it created this low-risk situation helped to enable it. So it was pretty cool, but it came together in less than a week. So.
Yeah, and so we already have the subrecipient agreement, which is pretty much a photocopy of the one we already did.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, yeah, like Kevin mentioned, we're just a pass-through agency. So the permitting, all the trials and tribulations of working the right-of-way and restorations and all that, that's all on the county side. We just need to verify that the infrastructure is indeed in place before the county gives them their money. We'll never get, it doesn't come here. We don't receive it. We don't pay the check. County pays the check. But we've got to verify that.
You got to sign the piece of paper at the end.
Yeah.
Actually, check something online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, check a box.
Not yeah, and it's paperless.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for Kevin or Mike on this? Thank you.
Okay.
You need a motion on that agreement right now? Or?
No, I'm going to bring it tomorrow, the next meeting.
Yeah. What else you got, Mike?
That's it. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Patrick?
Nothing for me.
Jay? All right. We'll go on to council comments. Kevin Ritter, you want to start? Anything?
I just want to appreciate you for sending out that email to Mike and I in regards to that 85th Street and the repairs to that road. So I do appreciate that, Mike and the mayor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Danny?
Yeah, Mayor. Mike, I wanted to say I appreciate the information. I mean, and also for Lana, I know she's not there tonight, but I appreciate, and also Patrick, every time I need something and have to have something reset to me or something's going wrong and I didn't understand or I didn't get the information. Seems like Lana, Patrick, and also Mike always comes to the aid and gets right back to me and sends the stuff through to me on the computer, so I have it. So I want to thank them both for that. Also, thanks for the mowing crew. Looks like going good down through this area here, down through Cedar Creek area. People called and appreciate that. And wanted to know about the pothole situation. Is that on the books? And for down this road, and also the one thing about the COVID-19 thing, do we have any UVC cleaning devices down at City Hall that maybe we could put on to, They clean your phone, your computer, so you don't use chemicals on your computer keyboard and everything. They're UVC cleaning device like they use at the hospitals, and their wands. They come in wands and other thing, and to that way we can ensure that the phones and the computers and the desk that the people can use if they become ill, or if we can do that. So that was just something I wanted to bring up. That's all I had, Mayor, and
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Do you know the street he's talking about with the potholes?
No, Dan, are you talking about Cedar Creek Road's got some potholes that need addressed?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Down, it would be just a little bit south of 85th Street.
Okay. I do not know, but I can find out. I'll get back to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Kevin?
No, I have nothing. I was just going to report on the broadband initiative, so we've covered that. So thank you.
Rob?
Just one question. What's the city policy on cars parked in front yards as far as codes enforcement?
Can't be on the grass.
I've actually had two people bring that up.
Really? Yeah. Can't be on the grass. It's got to be on a paved. Paved could be gravel, but it's got to be on a paved surface. Yeah.
So gravel's okay?
Yeah, gravel's okay.
It's not grass.
Right. Sometimes that line's a little blurry between gravel and grass. But yeah, it's, the cars, abandoned cars aren't something specifically that we go proactively enforce, but often they're an element of the properties that we identify that are the most egregious that we do. So if you have one, let me know. We can have a look at it.
Okay. But just abandoned cars? I mean, because
any cars.
Right? Any cars parked
cars
constantly.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but it's like the one right around the corner here is constantly has 5 or 6 cars in the driveway. But I'm sure it's in the evening time. But
well, so
that'd be hard to enforce if they're coming and going through the day and moving around.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say abandoned. I mean, I meant
any
cars on grass.
Cars cannot be parked on grass.
Yeah. And of course, abandoned cars are an issue that sometimes comes up as well.
And they are typically associated with those properties we identify for enforcement.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah, and a lot of times they're an element of those. Yeah.
Okay.
So if somebody's concerned, they can just contact you or
contact me or Walter or Brad. Yeah.
Okay. Lori,
that's all I got.
Sorry. Yeah, Lori.
I don't think I have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. I don't think I have anything to add tonight either.
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
Fun.